Hey guys, Merry Christmas. Orixy here. Today we've got a nice change of pace from our usual PvEs. Instead we'll be teaching you how to do undead layers for all those new players. First of all, undead layers drop from ghost gods, which shoot off these multiple projectiles of... Anyways, once you've made your way into an undead layer, please feel free to make yourself at home. You can either rush to the boss, or you can clear. Now what rushing means is you go through each room, rounding up as many of your little friends as you can, before stepping on a trap, because of course, traps need love. Now, if you're not confident in your ability to rush, I would recommend something called clearing. What clearing means is you go into each room, and you basically pretend you're a janitor. You clean out all the trash that's in the room. In most cases, you can circle around them, until, of course, something BS spawns out of nowhere and kills you anyways. While you're finding your way through an undead layer, you may encounter something called a treasure room. Rest assured, these have no threat and have the best drop in-game. All you have to do is circle around them and get a free character slot for your troubles. If you ever find yourself actually at the boss, make note of something very important. During certain times of the year, Deca will try to find ways to introduce more variety into the game. One of the favorite ways to do this is by modifiers, and of course, spawning random mobs that will kill you as you're trying to pick up your loot. Most times of the year, however, and in the vast majority of your runs, you won't have to worry about this. Instead, here are some helpful tips for first-time undead layer explorers. First, make sure you have some HP and mana potions. If it's your first time, most things here will scare you, and you will probably take a ton of damage. So just like at a frat party, bringing some pot will make your life much easier. That is, unless you've invested heavily in Petcoin, because who doesn't love a heavily monetized pay-to-win system in a video game? Anyways, when you've got these essentials prepared, you might be wondering, what gear do I need? Now, you don't actually need to worry about that here. Most minions have a hot chance to drop purple bags with mid-tier equipment, so you can honestly run this whenever you want. However, I would personally only go in at level 10 or higher, unless you really don't have anything better to do that day. You really don't want to know how long it takes to kill minions with a tier 0 weapon. Now, clearing or rushing each room should be really simple aside from the traps, which you can tell by the unique colorful runes etched onto the tiles. The biggest threat in the dungeon is actually the skeleton traps that will pop up and randomly try to kill you. Unless you're really into undead rites, I wouldn't hug these things unless you wanted a free character slot. As Usain Bolt once said, this is one boner you really don't want in your run. Now, once you're done clearing out the undead layer, or rushing, get to the boss. Now when you get to the boss, you'll first realize that he's surrounded by a bunch of minions, and he's invulnerable. So in order to make the boss vulnerable, you'll have to get rid of all his friends. It's a handy trick, both in-game and in real life for you psychopaths. Now once the boss is vulnerable, he'll begin to shoot out multiple volleys of arrows at you. Of course, dodge the arrows, shoot the boss, and take him to his next phases. After he's done shooting out these cycles of arrows, he'll go to the center of the room, and he'll begin exploding in his little fit of rage. Once he does this, he'll spat out more friends, and give them the same treatment you've done before. After this, the boss will become vulnerable again, and now it's back to the arrows. Shoot the boss, dodge, drink HP potions if you get low, and in a few seconds, he'll be dead. Pick up your loot, and head into Realm. Congratulations! You've completed your first undead layer. Now, with this challenge out of the way, it's time to move on to something slightly harder. Oryx's Castle. Now, after you've killed all of Oryx's lieutenants in a realm, these are mostly event bosses, liches, ents, you'll be transported to something called Oryx's Castle. Now this is where the big bad of Realm of the Mad God is hiding. Of course, you've got to get through his castle to get to it, which is where his minions come in. Most of these minions aren't that big of a threat. You can hide behind your friendly knight, or if you have max def, rush through it. When you get to the first mini-bosses, I'm sure all of you already know how to do. Circle around them when you can, If not, just shoot the boss from far away. Don't forget, if you see a safe spot, you should take it, because after all, you've beaten an undead lair, and that makes you... Oh, that's right. This game's a lot harder than undead lairs.